Dragon Ball Daima is now well underway with 5 episodes now having aired. And now I think we've seen enough where we can start asking the question, is Dragon Ball Daima good so far? Naturally, we can't judge the series as a whole until it's completed airing, and we're still a good ways away from that. But 5 overall episodes is a strong enough and substantial sample size that we can determine if the start of the series has been good or bad. It's no mystery that by now Dragon Ball Daima has been no stranger to controversy, with many deeming it bad before it even aired due to some of the concepts that it's implementing. But naturally, it's wildly unfair to deem a series as not good before having seen a single episode. But now I want to open up the question, is Dragon Ball Daima actually good so far? There's a number of selective criteria and categories I want to bring up to help answer this question. To start off, how good is the art and animation? The quality of art and animation can oftentimes make or break a series. After all, one of Dragon Ball Super's primary issues when it first started airing, especially in its first 5 episodes, was its lackluster art and animation. What about the world building of Dragon Ball Daima? Is it expanding upon the vastness of the Dragon Ball universe we've been exposed to prior in Dragon Ball Z? Or is it rehashing familiar environments that we've grown accustomed to seeing? How is the storytelling? Is the story that Dragon Ball Daima is trying to tell interesting and engaging for a viewer? Make us want to watch more? Does it make us want to see more? Does it inspire debate and discussion? How are the new characters? Are they interesting and engaging, or are they boring and bland? How is the action? Is the action in Dragon Ball Daima living up to what we expect of a Dragon Ball anime, or has it been lackluster so far? So overall, we need to answer the question if Daima has been boring and uneventful, or if it's been fun and engaging. And if there are any issues plaguing the series, what are they? And if there's any strengths that it excels at, what are those? Now, determining if a series is good or not is often subjective. But one person may love a series, someone else may hate it. But overall, if a series is objectively good, most people will come to a common consensus and like it. So let's start off with discussing the art and animation of Dragon Ball Daima. As I mentioned a moment ago, Dragon Ball Super was plagued by art and animation issues. This was primarily due to being rushed and lack of production time, not due to talent of the animators. We're all familiar with the early infamous arcs of Dragon Ball Super for how bad the art was. It's one of its most common complaints. So with Daima, naturally with it having spent a lot of time in production, we were expecting high levels of art and animation. In this particular category, I think that we can safely say that Daima is excelling. Now, you don't necessarily have to be a fan of the character designs and artistic approach Daima has taken, but the absolute stellar quality of the art and animation overall cannot be denied. I personally find the character designs and all of the character models to be quite charming, and the art animation, ranging from the very intro of the show to the episodes themselves, have been very compelling. Dragon Ball Super suffered so much with production issues that even just casual scenes where nothing much was happening was plagued by off-character models and overall just bad art. But with Daima, whether a scene is action-oriented or dialogue-heavy makes no difference. Everything consistently looks very well done. And though we haven't had a ton of action scenes thus far, the ones that we have seen have looked absolutely stellar. So far, Daima has been more grounded in its action approach, not over the top with power scaling like Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super were. This grounded approach is focused on lots of hand-to-hand direct combat from the likes of Goku. In my personal opinion, the animation for these zines have been fantastic. The animation manages to smoothly convey every punch and kick being shown. So if I were to give the art animation of Dragon Ball Daima a grade so far, I have to give it an 8. So let's move on to the world building of Dragon Ball Daima. In addition to its art animation, world building may be Daima's strongest factor, and what it succeeds the most in doing. While Dragon Ball Super suffered at times while focusing too much on earthly stories such as Resurrection F, Dragon Ball Daima has been very focused on realms we have never seen before, being the Demon Realm and the Demon Worlds within it. From very early on, while we were on Earth, it was clearly conveyed to us that the Demon Realm was the destination. This was a realm of the Dragon Ball universe we had seen very little of prior to Daima. So the almost entire setting of the series is in a never-before-seen world within the Dragon Ball universe. This alone helps it excel in its world-building capabilities. As with each new episode, it's provided us with new interesting information regarding the Demon Realm and how it works, and shown us many interesting individuals and locations in the Demon Realm as well. But in addition to that, the lore we've received regarding this new realm is also very compelling. We've learned of the origin of the Namekians being from the Demon World, which was long wondered. We learned that the vast majority of races with pointy ears also come from the Demon Realm. We've learned about its hierarchy and how it functions, there being 3 demon worlds, each with its own demon king, with a supreme demon king being Goma. We've had further exposure to new Dragon Balls, as the Demon Realm have their very own, protected by very powerful Tamagami, which we currently know very little about. They further expanded on the origins of Shin, the Supreme Kai, who we've also discovered is a Glend, hailing from the second demon world within the Demon Realm. And there's a plethora of other bits and pieces of lore that we've been provided in regards to the world building of Dragon Ball Daima and the Demon Realm that I could just go on and on about. Now this could be a bit subjective depending on how interested you are in the Demon Realm. If this realm as a whole and the information provided don't interest you, then you may give it a bad grade. But I've personally found it very compelling and fascinating and do give it a very high grade. At the very least, with the first 5 episodes episodes, Dragon Ball Daima has been very heavy with its world building and lore reveals. But what about the new characters? New characters can help make or break new series. Look at Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. For that movie, Toriyama designed 2 brand new characters in Beerus and Whis, and fans of Dragon Ball instantly fell in love with the characters. But what about the new characters in Daima? We've been introduced to many new characters, but currently 5 stand above the rest. Goma, Dagesu, Ari Nisu, Pansy, and Glorio. Goma was presented as an antagonist from the very beginning of episode 1, as he is the one who kickstarted the plot for the series by turning the entire main cast into children. With him being the Supreme Demon King and the brother of Deborah, he's a character who constantly looms over the main story. As of thus far, he's been the primary antagonist, but we haven't seen that much of him yet. I personally expect we'll see a lot more of him going deeper into the series, so it's kind of difficult to give an accurate assessment of how good his character actually is. I am interested and intrigued by him. He's like your very typical Toriyama comedic villain. That alone makes him compelling to me. What about Dagesu? He alone carries great intrigue from his connection with the Supreme Kai, as we know that they are siblings, and this ties directly into Arinisu as well. It's been assumed by many that Dagesu and Arinisu are Mikao Shin, the opposite of the Supreme Kais, or bad Supreme Kais to an extent. And these are merely theories, not statements made within the confines of the Dragon Ball Daima story. We don't know a lot about Dagesu and his ambitions right now, but Arinisu herself carries a little bit more intrigue. Going back to episode 1, when Goma and Dagesu are leaving the Demon Realm, they are informed by Warp-sama that Arinisu has already left. We have still yet to find out her reasoning for leaving. That was obviously foreshadowing for things to come. And there's the 2 new main characters accompanying Goku on his journey through the Demon Realm, being Glorio and Pansy. Now we've only seen Pansy for 2 episodes, so we've only had really 1 episode of exposure to her, but we do have more information on Glorio. He's the one who retrieved Goku and brought him to the Demon Realm, but he himself also carries an aura of mystery. As within episode 5, Supreme Kai himself tells Goku that he's very wary of him and that Glorio is hiding something. So somewhere down the line in the series, Glorio is going to have some kind of reveal that will give us information and insight into his character motivations. As of right now, he's presented as a very shrewd and cold, mysterious character that is yet to open up to the main cast. This mystery alone makes him interesting. In the end, will he be an ally or will he be an enemy? That's a story the question is making us ask about one of its main characters, which is a good thing. Overall, I am interested in the new characters within Dragon Ball Daima, but it's still being so early in the series, it's hard to give them a full evaluation right now. Now, I haven't found them personally to be as compelling as the likes of Beerus and Whis thus far, but in my opinion, Beerus and Whis are 2 extraordinary characters, so just coming close to that is an accomplishment in and of itself. I'm also sure we'll have more new characters to come. I'm personally very interested in Arinisu and Dagesu and their connection with Supreme Kai, if they truly are Mikao Shin, and what their overall goals are. Are they aligned with Goma's, or are they completely different? It can also be argued that Goma may not be the overall main antagonist of the series, as we really only had exposure to him within episode 1. Since then, we've only had small bits and pieces of him presented to us. Pansy is pretty cut and dry. She's the daughter of the king of the 3rd Demon World, who wants to go on the adventure with Goku, Supreme Kai, and Glorio. Among the main cast, it's Glorio who carries the most mystery, so we'll have to see where that takes us and if it's a story worth being invested in. And the next topic I want to touch on is the action. Dragon Ball Daima has not been very action-focused. It's been very focused on the adventure aspect of the series, primarily showing off the Demon Realm to us, and focusing on the world building and lore of the series. The Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super are extremely action-focused series. It's what the series is known for. So you can't have a Dragon Ball series with no action whatsoever. It's fundamental to the very heart and core of the series. But Dragon Ball is also a lot about the adventure, and while some series like Dragon Ball Super may be very action-oriented, it's okay for series like Daima to be adventure-oriented. And we have received several fight scenes with Goku in the last few episodes, and I think all of them look great. As I mentioned earlier, Dragon Ball Daima isn't taking a very flashy approach to the action. These haven't been world-threatening fights that could destroy the entire planet in a space-time continuum like we saw in Dragon Ball Super Broly. They're very grounded skirmishes focused on hand-to-hand combat. This can also be a blessing. It provides the animators with an opportunity to focus on the actual choreography of hand-to-hand combat without the need for earth-shattering power-ups and ki blasts. It's a nice change of pace, to be honest. Now, I can't sit here and tell you that Dragon Ball Daima has been absolutely excelling in the action department, because that's not what it's been focused on. I think it's been excelling in the adventure department, which is clearly currently its primary goal. I personally expect us to get a plethora of action scenes going into the future, as eventually Goku will fight stronger and stronger opponents, namely the Tamagami, that will probably require more classic Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super-esque fights. But if we're focusing thus far on the pure art and animation and quality of the fights we've seen, then it's been absolutely stellar. Every fight sequence we've had thus far, though not grand in scale, has looked absolutely amazing. So this subject really comes down to personal taste. Has there been too little content combat for your liking? Or do you prefer the limited combat and the focus on the adventure? I'm personally a fan of the approach so far because I personally am expecting us to have more intense action sequences as the series progresses. And once you're provided with an opportunity to see those, we can more accurately judge Dragon Ball Daima on its action. But for now, I'll give the action a passing grade as well. But there is one common complaint that I've seen going around for Dragon Ball Daima, and that being that it's too slow paced, and not enough has happened. Aside from the cast being turned into kids, and Goku going to the demon realm and wandering about for a bit, nothing of grand scale has happened thus far. Now if you're an individual that likes grand events to occur every episode that further continue the story, then Dragon Ball Daima may not be pleasing you thus far. I can acknowledge that Dragon Ball Daima is not being very fast paced right now, but to me this isn't an issue. I for one am very much enjoying the grounded adventure based aspect of the series. It's been very character oriented, focused on the character interactions and the world building and exploring of the demon realm, sprinkled in with lore reveals here and there. I think the overall consensus regarding this topic is that while it is a little slow paced and could be faster, it's not slow paced to the point that it makes people not interested in the series. Some things can be too slow paced where it makes you feel like everything is just dragging and you just want to hurry and get to the point already. But that isn't an issue Dragon Ball Daima has had in my opinion. But I also don't want Dragon Ball Daima to rush things either. I want to properly explore the demon realms and the characters and concepts within. And being a big Dragon Ball fan, I want to enjoy this journey as much as possible. And though each episode may be a little bit slow paced, it has provided us with new concepts and information with each new episode, meaning at the very minimum, a few things were accomplished with each episode, and no episode was pointless. On an overall scale, I'm very pleased with Dragon Ball Daima thus far. Now I can't sit here and say that it's done anything of game-changing quality. It hasn't had an intense and extremely well-animated action sequence that's gone viral on the internet that made everybody go crazy. It hasn't done anything game-changing in regards to storytelling, but I do think it's succeeding in what it set out to do. Provide us with a fun new adventure while exploring new unseen worlds, with a plethora of new concepts, information, and characters. I personally think Daima has been very good so far, and if I were to compare the first 5 episodes of Dragon Ball Daima to the first 5 episodes of Dragon Ball Supers, I think Dragon Ball Daima takes the cake easily. So overall, yes, I do think the series has been good so far, but that doesn't mean you agree with me. What are your thoughts on Dragon Ball Daima? Has it been good so far? Are you enjoying it? Let me know down in the comments below. My name has been Champazard. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so very much for watching. Please consider hitting the like button, leaving a comment down below, and hitting the subscribe button as it helps the channel do well and it helps the video do well. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.